welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of January 18th, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me tonight, two individuals, 2 weeks in a row. I can't to leave it.
This is Benjamin Daniel Too Lawless. Right here.
Craft.
Good old Devon.
Too craft, too serious.
Two craft. Two.
That was good. Too craft. Is that can't be the title. We got to do better than that. But that's a pretty high bar, guys.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
This is another episode of the Science Faction Podcast. Thank you for joining us this week. This is my new intro. What do you guys think?
That's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah,
good.
you got the sexy voice going.
Oh,
you know,
that's what you focused on. Okay, I see you. I see you. In the
hey,
comment
I'm
section.
here for vibes. That's all I'm here for.
Just vibes and quiet quitting. That's all it is.
That's my life.
It's your life.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? It's another week. We're here.
Yeah, you guys. I just went through a weird. We're in our 40s now, right? So like, we start to pick
old
up.
as heck. Yeah.
Yeah, we start to pick up medical conditions, and lately I've had a case of vertigo. Have either of you guys ever dealt with vertigo?
Not sober.
No, I feel like even
Nice.
somewhat recently, like a month or two ago, there were like a couple days in a row where I kind of felt dizzy and lightheaded, and like the things were spinning. So I think I kind of maybe.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I went to a doctor, and the doctor said, "Yep, you've got a particular, like a pretty mild case of vertigo." And it was good that I went to the doctor because, number one, vertigo could be caused by a lot of different things. It could be like seizure and stroke related, or it could be what I have, which is just some crystals in the ear that are telling my cilia and my brain that I'm not where I think I am. And
We've all been there before, huh, boys? Right.
So I was able to the doctor was able to figure out like which side it was on, and then told me like, hey, here's a particular, they called it the Epley maneuver, which is just an exercise you can do. I did it once, and then I don't have to deal with it anymore.
What?
Like,
can you say
it was fine.
Can you say the name of that maneuver slower? You said it kind of fast.
The Epley maneuver.
Nah, that's from Star Trek. There's no way that's
Right,
real.
well, you know what? Don't Google it, because you're just going to get Star Trek stuff. That's all. It's Star Trek all the way down.
All the way down. It's nothing but Trek.
Yeah. No. And there are a couple of different exercises that you could do. This one is suggested because it tends to have the greatest efficacy for my particular kind of vertigo. And sure enough, it worked out pretty good. For about a day, I felt a little like off, not dizzy or anything, not as bad as I did whenever I would have a vertiginous experience. But
okay, another contender for a title.
Yeah, just because I know the $3 word, Stephen. I
can't even
might
spell
plot a few
it.
more of those.
That word was so epic, I can't even figure out how to spell it.
I can spell it for you,
Thank you.
in the notes. It's all right, no worries.
Vertiginous.
Vertiginous.
Vertiginous. Oh, there's an extra N in there. Vertiginous.
Yes, vertiginous. And anyhow, it's I felt right as rain a day later, but also had no more issues with getting up after lying down anymore.
Dude, that's awesome.
It wasn't. Yeah, and it wasn't altogether unpleasant. It kind of sticking with the Star Trek references. It was kind of like I was on the bridge of the original series Enterprise and it got hit by a photon torpedo.
Oh,
like
okay.
I was heading one way, but the rest of the world was heading another. You know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I'm glad your maneuver helps you, man. That's great, and that it wasn't something far worse. Because
yeah. Yeah, and I didn't have to get no medication, no long-term repercussions. Like I'm really, really thankful. So
I'm great that you're going to be healed by getting rid of crystals.
right.
That's
Get them out of
Yeah.
here.
get out of here, crystals.
Get those crystals in order.
Devon, are you a little concerned about yourself now?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
Are you
it was. I haven't been feeling it recently.
Okay.
And it was short enough. It wasn't really concerned. No.
Okay. Fair enough. Don't die.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's great. Let me talk about something. Let me go through my list of things here. Perils and Princesses. That's a role-playing game that I recently purchased. The core rule book and the first supplement called Sweet Revenge, which is a whole like mini campaign. Perils and Princesses, I've talked about it before on the podcast, so I'm not going to get totally deep into it, but it's a pretty simple fairy tale adventure RPG where the characters, you can definitely style yourself as a, quote, typical princess. There's room in there to kind of create what you want. But essentially, every character has a fairy godmother, and they've bestowed a gift upon you. Your gift is kind of like your class, if you're familiar with other RPGs. Where you have some talents, which is like skills. And you roll some dice for some hit points and stuff. You have an easy inventory to keep track of, and then you go out and you do princessy things. The three stats. Sorry, I have a character sheet right here. The three stats are. I gotta go, and now I'm back.
Yeah. I kind of thought that maybe somebody was calling you like, Dad, come back. We got to finish our game.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
I was closing Windows on my desktop, and I thought I had closed Discord.
Good timing.
Digital trolling Devon. That's great. So your main stats are usually typically in a role-playing game, you have like strength or dexterity, intelligence, that kind of stuff. In this game, it is resolve, grace, and wits, which is kind of nice. And they do kind of equate into those things. Resolve is kind of like strength or constitution. Grace is kind of like dexterity or charisma. Wits is like intelligence or wisdom. So they're there, but you kind of get to reframe them. And your special gift is like I said, is like your class. For example, let's see, my wife, because my wife and my two children all made characters, and I ran them through the sample in the core book, the sample adventure. So her gift was kitchen magic. And so her innate ability, or she had, her talents were cooking, bakery, foraging, and sewing. And her gift, so you have a gift die, and it's a 6-sided die. Every level for the first 4 levels, you get an additional one. And you have to roll that die to see how your magic affects the world. If you roll a 1, 2, or 3, you get that die back after its effect happens. If you roll a 4, 5, or 6, that die goes away until you take a full night of restful sleep, right? Like a long rest. Let's see. She also has. Hers was that. What she would roll is how many goodies that she had like pre-baked that are in her pockets. And each one of those goodies you roll randomly, and there's a small list of spells that they could produce. So she's kind of like a spellcaster that could give her goodies out to other people for them to cast the spells instead. It's a really, really fun thing. Her name ended up being Lady Ash of Starlight Hill. So
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. My girls liked it. My wife, who's not much of a gamer in this sense, it was fine for her. She she's playing with her kids. So that was what she got out of it. She was having an activity with her children. My youngest daughter, she's a natural. She spoke, I don't know, 60% of the time. She was like, oh, then we're going to do this, and that means this, and then, oh, then we can do that, and I've got this in my inventory, so I'm going to do it this because of this reason. And it was great to see her just like this, the seed of the future, either role player or somebody who, an actress, or, someone who performs in some manner. I can see that in her, which is wonderful to see. My other daughter, bless her heart, my older daughter, during the initial adventure, they came across a giant spider. And my youngest daughter, her gift was wild heart, so she had a lot of like talk to animals kind of stuff. She was able to talk to the spider, and the spider says, I'm just hungry. I'm not mean. I'm just really hungry, and you're the only food around. I'm just hungry. And they did various things to try to convince the spider otherwise, or to scare it off. And then my wife, who is in fact arachnophobic in real life and was getting creeped out at this part of the game, said, I take my kitchen knife, because that was her weapon, was like a kitchen knife, and I want to throw it at the spider to try and stab it between the eyes. And my oldest, the look of horror on her face at that proposed action. And my wife very quickly was like, never mind, I don't want to do that. Never mind, we'll find another way. And there were some tears, some hidden tears, maybe just watery eyes. And so after the game was over, I talked to her separately, and I was like, hey, like what's up? Like what about the game disturbed you? Like what about that interaction? And the main takeaway was it upset her because the spider wasn't evil. It was just hungry, and we should try to help the spider. Bless her little heart. And that is something, if this was more of real life, and if someone was going to attack you and the only reason why is because they were hungry, you don't immediately murder them. You get them food, right? Like, that's what should happen in a civilized society. So the fact that that's straight where my daughter went in her thinking actually makes me very proud. Now we need to work on imagination versus real life. So anyways, Perils and Princesses, I think excellent for families. I believe on the cover, it's too far away for me to grab, but I think it says something like 10 and up. It's very good for families. Nice. Simple enough to use. My girls, they had, like, every time I was like, do this roll, and they'd pick up the die. This one? Like, yes, again, that's the same one that we've been using. But you only need a D20, a D6, and a D4. So if you just have a standard set of role-playing dice, you have enough to play this game. So check it out. Perils and Princesses.
Right on.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Devon, how are you doing? What's going on with you?
Doing fine. It's nice to have a 3-day weekend. I talked about it beforehand, but I got a new guitar. It's pretty awesome, but I won't.
Yeah.
If the patrons know.
Patrons can find out, or you can become a patron to find out. Other than that, let's see. Yeah, not really anything else going on.
Okay. Have you watched the new Starfleet Academy show?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay. I'll tell you. I went into it thinking it wasn't going to be for me, to be honest. Like, a lot of the stuff that I had seen from it, a lot of the like clips that were from it, taken out of context, really just seemed not interesting to me. But I watched the first 2 episodes, and they were really, really, really good. They were better than average on pilot episode, Star Trek pilot episodes. And I'd say it's not without its problems, that's for sure. But the acting, the characters, like every single character, especially the students at the Academy, I want to know more about. And that's kind of high praise for such an ensemble show with a large cast. Big ups to, I think it's Gina Yashere is the name of the actress. She plays one of the, let's see, I want to make sure I get her name right. Gina Yashere, is an actress and comedian, and she plays one of the professors who's half Jem'Hadar, half Klingon, and she's incredible. Just like
Well, I heard the Klingon.
single
What's the other half?
Jem'Hadar.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Am I breaking up a lot for you, Stephen?
No,
No,
I think my brain's
Okay.
having issues with the world. It's fine.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no
Yeah,
worries.
I've seen that character. Do they address like? I mean, it's been hundreds of years, so it's not a big deal. But they've obviously solved the Ketracel White issue.
Yes, they
Did they mention
have.
that, or
Yes. Well, no, they don't mention that, but her blood is white, so there's that.
So you get,
But no,
she gets bloody. Then spoilers. Come on, man. Spoilers.
spoilers. Yeah,
How dare
yeah.
you.
Blood is spilled, for sure. But I mean, like, they do not go into a lot of it. In fact, that is one of the things that's fascinating and also a little bit off about some of the races that they show in the show. I guess one of the things that they do that like, okay, sometimes you watch Star Trek and you're like, I have to write something in my head in order to make this particular thing make sense, because everything else is looking pretty good, right?
Headcanon. That's headcanon.
Headcanon.
Yeah.
Gotta do some headcanon.
Sure.
And
all do
so,
it.
for example, in the background of many scenes, there is a character that is one of those alien races from the original series of Star Trek, where half of them are black and the other half is white.
Oh yeah, we all know that.
Yeah, we all know that, right?
Yeah.
I've recently rewatched the episode because I was like, I can't have remembered this wrong. They should not be here. And so the entire idea about that episode, it's an incredible episode. It's called "Let That Be Your Last Battlefield," and it's an episode of the original Star Trek series in which there's two members of the same race. One is black on the right side and white on the left. One is black on the left side and white on the right, and they hate each other and they cannot get over their differences. Well, all of their fighting and everything, they get back to, like, the Enterprise takes them back to their planet, and they find that their planet has been completely wiped out. Nobody living there anymore. Nuclear winter.
Ooh.
Because the entire planet completely demolished itself from all this. And the two men still left, they go down to the planet surface and resume the fight. And that's where they leave them. So to think that 870 years later, there would be a member of that race at Starfleet Academy seems not just like a
Oversight?
Not just an oversight, but also tonally deaf to the entire purpose of that episode. That episode showing that here is where racism and bigotry lead you, as a species.
Well,
And
okay, but Star Trek
let that be your lesson.
Is a positive future, a utopic future. So maybe that was supposed to allude to, hey, they did find a way to solve their problems, and now they're being accepted into the Federation.
Thank you for the headcanon, Stephen. Exactly my point.
There you
right?
go.
Like that's but
I have excellent coping mechanisms.
Yeah. However, it's kind of an odd sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that shows that sometimes it's like, oh, this production designer remembers something that happened, but didn't actually do their homework about like what it means.
You're talking about the new show, but didn't that happen with the same race in the movie? The
Section 31 movie did have a member of that species too. Yes. Yeah. That movie is obviously not canon and it didn't actually happen. So
Welcome to the Star Wars Club. Tell us your two favorite prequel sequels and then go away.
Here's the thing. I bought a DVD box set 13 years ago. Because of this, I have every right to demand all Star Trek material be made to my exact specifications, and it's completely understandable that I repeatedly complained about a TV show existing that nobody's forcing nor asking me to watch. I'm very, very knowledgeable about Star Trek, so you should all agree with what I say.
Dude, I agree with what you're saying. 100%. 100%.
Anyhow,
Have you seen?
yeah.
I
All
just
that
saw a
being said,
headline the other day.
Starfleet Academy is worth your time to watch, and the first 2 episodes, were much better than I expected. So
Okay,
I
awesome.
was just going to mention this. I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline, so maybe it was out of context. But it just said that Dave Filoni did not like the Andor series.
right?
I've seen that headline
I
float
saw
around
that.
as well.
Yes, that headline.
Okay, I'm just like, that doesn't bode well for the future of Star Wars.
It bodes, because I've watched a lot of Filoni and like interviews and Filoni and Lucas interviews. Filoni absolutely loves the mystical side of Star Wars. So I could see him not liking Andor because that's too like real, like too close to real life and not enough of the mysticism and like magicalness of Star Wars. So like, and also I have not read this article or that you're talking about, but I imagine they're taking some quote and spinning it to make it sound like it's awful.
He probably said like, "Oh no, that was a great show. It wasn't exactly what I am interested in doing with Star Wars, but it was great." Something like that.
Probably, that's my guess. Man, this is an awful podcast. Do not come to us for news. we don't know. But him, so Filoni and someone else whose name I haven't memorized yet have taken over the lead of Star Wars from Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh.
So I think that's, Devon, that's what you were talking about with it doesn't bode well for Star Wars. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy has stepped down, and like the co-presidents of Lucasfilm are Dave Filoni and someone else. And I want to say, because I did read an article about it, this other person has like worked on Star Wars for years and years and years as well. It's just not a household name yet. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I think Filoni does a good job with stuff. He has long, I think he really understands George Lucas and like the reasons behind the choices Lucas made in the original movies. And he's shown us through Clone Wars and through Rebels and through the Ahsoka show and others that he has a mind for Star Wars and a mind for long storytelling that takes its time, right? Like you don't have to like top load all of your Star Wars references right off the top and keep them there all the time. Like, he'll go from this character to that character. He might, I'm talking like going back to the Rebels and even Clone Wars, where they were like these story arcs that kind of dealt with different characters being in charge and like in telling stories in different ways that way, and not always focusing on a specific character all the time. And when you have such a huge cast that Star Wars has, you have all these eras and characters to pick from. I think it's a great choice to get in there and start making creative stories. We have the timeline that we like. Disney is actually going in Galaxy's Edge and taking half of it and putting it back to the original trilogy era, because that's the Star Wars people care about. That's a whole other thing that I was not prepared to talk about. It's a whole revamp that they're doing over the summer. I'm guessing May 4th is when they're going to it's going to be a huge deal.
All right. I don't like that. Do you like that, Stephen?
I don't. I do like it. Half the land is going to be like original trilogy. The other half the land is going to be the Resistance or sequel trilogy. And in the middle, it's kind of nebulous, which is where the Falcon is. And they've already said that they're changing the Falcon ride or updating it and adding aspects of the Mandalorian into it. So like you've got all your eras there. There's room for it. Change Galaxy's Edge to be like a mystical land where you can reach all these different eras of Star Wars. I like that better than what they did, because the sequel trilogy is trash and they based their whole land on it, and that was dumb. You go original trilogy. That's safe. The original trilogy is safe. They took too much of a risk.
Okay.
Anyway.
I mean, I guess that's an. Is it because you've experienced it so much and you're like just ready for something new, or
No, it's not. It's not good. It's
Sorry,
Sorry, that's too harsh. The Star Wars,
because I'm like,
Galaxy's Edge is a ton of fun. It's a great,
Yeah.
like, I feel like I'm in Star Wars. Doesn't matter which era is your favorite or which ones you hate. You get there, you're on a brand new planet, you're, in universe all of a sudden. It's a wonderful experience. Then the cracks start to show. There's only 2 rides there, and there's like nothing else in between but stores and food and expensive lightsaber building and expensive droid building. There's not really a whole lot there to experience. The first time you're there, you're overwhelmed. And like I say, the first time, some people, that's their only time, right? I realize that I'm in a very special place that I go at least once a year. But like,
I guess that's what I'm getting at, is like, is it because because for me, like I am so thankful for the time I spent in Galaxy's Edge, precisely because of the fact that it was a completely integrated, like it was new. It was, and it was thematically consistent in a way that, breaking it up between different eras, I'm like, I feel like they'd be losing something.
So
that's kind of important with that.
To get it, I'm going to get in the weeds a little bit here with Disney and Disneyland and what Walt wanted. It's going to sound like I'm a huge Disney adult,
Walt?
and I'm not. No, so Walt Disney, when he built the park, one of the things that he said,
Star Wars.
He was like, Star Wars is the best ever, original trilogy forever. He's quoted as saying this, holding a walkie-talkie.
Back in 1943.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, one of the things that he wanted was a park that
I
evolved.
realized he died in '66. I thought he might have actually lived till the first one, but he didn't.
Oh no! I think some kind of cancer got him.
Circulatory collapse due to lung cancer. Okay,
lung cancer. There it is. Except for his head, that's alive and well, buried underneath the park. No, one of his core tenets for Disneyland was that it didn't stay static, that they would update the rides to better technologies, and that's kind of a core tenet that Disneyland still does. They won't keep something just because it's old. Like if there's a better version, they'll find a way to memorialize it or whatever, and they move on.
Star Tours, is no longer the Star Tours it was.
Exactly.
When it premiered.
They've updated it. They've changed it. They continue to add to it because they've built that into it now, that they can keep adding planets and people and all that stuff. It's called Star Tours. The something continues. The journey continues. Maybe, I don't remember. So like,
yeah, but the Star Tours only though is one time period. It is a story. Like the new one is a single time period. They're not jumping between different. They may be jumping between different places, but not timelines.
They are jumping around anywhere.
Then I'm flipping the table, man. Like, screw this.
You don't have to ever experience it. That's
Misa going home, man.
Misa going home. I think the last time I went, it was Naboo, and then it was Hoth, and then some kind of asteroid fight, maybe. I don't know. It was
right,
just.
But I guess what I'm getting at is that like they're not starting you off in the sequel trilogy and then hopping you over to Alderaan. Naboo still exists in the sequel trilogy, so you can go there.
Yeah, what they do. Well, it's weird though, because you start off, you're like at Star Tours, Starport. What is this conversation? Why am I talking about this? You start off in the Starport. I'm really
happy I brought that article.
Awesome.
Dave Filoni hates Andor.
No, okay. Dave Filoni, that's the pipeline from there to this is how Star Tours is now, or Star Tours, the journey continues. No, you start off in the Starport. Vader holds your shuttle and says there's a spy on board, and they pick a person in the audience as the spy, and you take off, hit hyperspace, and then you go to Planet One. And
wait, that's the new one?
Yeah.
Okay, Vader. Huh.
Well, who was it when you did it? Was it Kylo Ren?
I could have sworn it was Kylo Ren when
Maybe they do them both. The thing is that when you get to the location, you become part of a version of the major battle that was there on screen until you leave again. The thing that anchors you, I guess, is R2 and C-3PO, but they were alive in all three things. They keep it vague on purpose. They let your imagination it can be whatever era you want it to be, essentially. So, anyways, what I was saying about Galaxy's
This is
Edge,
almost as bad as Section 31 actually being a movie. Like, I don't know, man.
It's a ride. It's a ride, dude. Non-canon events can happen in a ride.
Wrong. Not true. Think about T2 3D the ride. Think about
I don't want
that
to.
happened. Back to the Future the ride happened.
I was okay. If we're gonna get into the Back to the Future the ride lore, let's go. I love that ride. No, so the point that I wanted to make to respond to you was that I think it's a good idea that they are changing and evolving and updating a land according to what people are into about that thing at the time. When it opened, the 9th movie hadn't come out yet, right? So it felt like you were in the middle of this trilogy living with it. That's not the case anymore. The 9th movie came out. It's been years and years and years. And so the land feels stuck. And for them to not take the entire land, off the grid, they can't change Rise of the Resistance ride anyway. It's an awesome ride and they shouldn't change it. So it's like, okay, keep that on one end. On the other end, put the original trilogy, kind of blend it in the middle, just have it be this kind of nebulous thing. It's Star Wars. People don't care that much. Just go and experience Star Wars. That's it.
I can't believe I heard you say those words out of your mouth. Friendship over.
Okay.
It's like I don't even know you.
All right, Devon, I'm going to kick Ben out of this call, and then we'll just go back to how the podcast used to be. I would say, I love something, and you'd go, all right, whatever, and then we'd move on.
No, I think that's a perfectly and yeah, you're right. That is what's going on. But why, like, I think that is a bummer that they're segmenting it between different eras, because I think that anchoring it to one era is a thematically interesting thing that they were able to do that I think is pretty special. So
I mean,
bummer that's being lost.
That's cool, but I would much rather have it be like, here's this planet, and we can change it to the different eras at will by changing just like some of the set dressing and like who appears in the land at that time. That's what we're going to get. Eventually the prequels will enter such nostalgia that they're going to be like, oh, well, let's do prequel era. Let's have Jedis walking around because they're, everywhere, and no stormtroopers show up or anything, but maybe we have the ability to have droids walking around that look like battle droids and stuff, because they're experimenting with like little droids that run around on their own anyway.
Does it ever bother you that they keep so much Star Wars stuff and like Jedi Academy stuff in the middle of Tomorrowland?
It doesn't bother me. I get it. That's where
Maybe
some of
it
that
should.
stuff was built, and they don't have
Yeah,
room
maybe
for
it should.
You think
They
it
should put it in a long time ago in the far, far away,
Tomorrowland,
Galaxy Land.
The wrong direction. It should be the ancient past land.
Tomorrowland
That's what I'm talking about.
is so outdated. That entire land needs to be ripped up and redesigned. There's nothing there. Space Mountain,
I actually
roller
thought
coaster in the dark. Who cares?
I thought they basically
that's like the best.
I
Buzz
haven't
Lightyear.
been to Disneyland in a very long time. And I just assumed that they replaced Tomorrowland with Star Wars Land. So I didn't even know Tomorrowland still existed.
Nope, it's still there.
Still exists. It's still there. Yeah. Star Tours is not in Star Wars Land.
Because it's not Star Wars Land, you idiot. All right, let's move on.
But yet they're making it that way. They're making it that way.
Okay, if you feel personally accosted to this, and you expect them to
I'm
demolish
gonna write a blog post.
Demolish an entire building worth of stuff and try to rebuild it and shove it in a corner of the land where it doesn't fit. More power to you. I'll sign your petition.
So then you don't want them to add more stuff that's from the original trilogy? You want them to keep it the way it is?
Okay, so I would like them to commit to a bit. If it's going to be the original series, make the entire land original series themed. Forget about how great everybody remembers Rise of the Resistance being.
Dude, that ride is the most popular ride in Disneyland day after day. There's no way they're getting rid of it.
Sure.
If it was a shit ride, I'm with you.
I'm just saying that, like, you're talking about, time must move forward. Walt didn't want it to remain stagnant and stuff. I'm telling you that there are a lot of different ways that this could go. They took a creative risk keeping everything in one era, and I think that creative risk is something that pays off in people feeling like they're actually part of the Star Wars story when they go there. Because I know I did.
You're always going to feel like you're part of the Star Wars story going in there, but not everybody. Like we are not the average park goer. We know way too much about Star Wars. Like, you go there, you see some things that you're like, oh, I remember that robot. Oh, these buildings have weird writing on them. That looks like Star Wars to me. Millennium Falcon. And then you're done. Like, that's the average person, I think. Like, you're like, I recognize a couple things. My kid wanted a laser sword. And then we go out to the other part of the park. Like, that's all it is. Not to me and you, but to the average person.
Not to me and you.
No, we're above average. Or below, depending on your point of view. I think Devon thinks we're below average. Let's move on. We've talked enough. No, one other thing I wanted to mention before we move on. I'm re-listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl. Guys, that series is so banger. Like, the 9th book was just announced. Like, get on it if you haven't yet. You guys, listeners, Dungeon Crawler Carl, get the audiobook and just enjoy life. It's a great way to detach yourself from real life for just a little while. It's wonderful.
So I'm still listening to the 4th book.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, it's really good, but I maybe it's just me again with my whole, like, I don't really feel like listening to fiction so much lately.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just like, I can't get through it.
Yeah.
But it might just be me.
Well, I think
I felt that way about the 3rd book too. I was like, this is good, but I really am not interested in it, but I'll get through it. And then I took a break between the 3rd and 4th book. And now I listened to most of the 4th book, and I'm still like, I don't know, but maybe it's just me.
They're not all perfect. And the first and second one are really good. And then, the 3rd and 4th kind of will divide you. But then once it hits the 5th book, 5th, 6th, 7th, it just starts getting better and better and better and better. So,
but no, I don't think they're bad. I don't think it's the books, but I think it's you. I think it's me, but also not just that I'm not interested in reading fiction right now, but I do kind of feel like since it is based on like a role-playing game mechanic, like I do get kind of tired of we got a new item and we have a clever thing to say about it. And I'm just like, I feel like I should be taking notes, and then I would feel more like I'm prepared to listen to the rest of the book. So but I'm like, I have no idea what's in his inventory, and he'll just pull something out and be like, yeah, I'm sure I heard some point where he got that thing.
So a couple points about that. That storytelling mechanic becomes more interesting and better as the books go on. That has a lot to do with the AI itself. There's a whole storyline about the AI that they dive deep into later. That makes all of those kind of weird interactions suddenly like snap into focus of what was important. Also, I believe his inventory and all that stuff is consistent, but if he pulls something out from several books ago, he'll mention like a line that will say like, oh, this was from that one thing, and you go like, oh, I remember that thing, and then you just kind of move on. That's not the important part of like that nitty gritty like game stuff, because I'm a gamer and that stuff is like kind of cool to me. Like, yeah, that's fun, but that's not what would bring me that aspect of the book is not going to make me recommend it to somebody. It's the characters and the character development and all that, not the little game mechanic-y things.
It's funny. Like it's good. A lot of it.
Yeah, you've said several
I
times
don't
that
know.
it's good, so I'm not sure what you're really saying here.
I don't know. I just feel like I should like it more, and so I'm like,
So you're disappointed in yourself?
bad that I don't.
I mean,
Yeah.
Devin,
What?
it's okay. I haven't gotten through the first book, so
That super surprises me. I just listened to the
Yeah.
first book like last week, and it just
see
flows
y'all
just
are
like I
y'all are
remember it.
listening to it, not reading it. Perhaps that's a different thing.
Well,
Everybody that's
like
told me
I've
that they listen
said-
to it.
Like I've
you know.
said, get the audiobook. It is so
That's
well
true.
acted.
Absolutely.
It is very good.
It's more of like an audio experience. Like that's
Yeah.
how it should be enjoyed. I've seen people like posts on I think I'm a member of like a fantasy sci-fi book club thing on Facebook, but people saying like, "Oh, I read, Dungeon Crawler Carl and it was great." And then people are like, "Oh yeah, now you got to listen to it cuz then
Yeah.
that's the real enjoyment." And it is. That production, they go all out for that.
I mean,
production. It's really
looking
good.
in the books, because I just got most of the books at Christmas time because I wanted my shelf trophies. Flipping through the books, like all of the every time the AI like says something, it's like a different font and like boxed out weird. And I could see like reading it would get kind of exhausting. Like, and I got to read another one of these boxes. But when you're listening to it, it just flows. And they do different effects on the narrator's voice for the different characters and stuff. So it's AI, it's like roboticized, and so it's really easy to differentiate that stuff in your mind of like who's saying what and like what's important, what's not important, that kind of stuff. Super well done. All right, we're 40 minutes in. Let's do some future or now.
Now.
Who's excited to talk about their news? Because I think we're only going to do one.
Not
Mine's
me.
like super short. Yeah.
Mine would be super short.
Okay, you guys do yours.
Okay. All right. So y'all, I'd like to encourage you that if you've been a little bit annoyed with browsers lately, there is a way that you can off the shelf install different web browsers such as Chrome or Firefox without their AI features, their telemetry data reporting, their sponsored content, any product integrations, really, or any other annoyances such as bugging you to make it your default browser when you log in. The entire goal is just to, from this project, is to give you just the browser and nothing else, basically using hidden settings in web browsers that are intended for companies and other organizations. So if that sounds interesting to you, I highly recommend checking out justthebrowser.com and following the instructions there. They have instructions for Windows, for Mac, for Linux, for several different browsers. Justthebrowser.com.
Have you been using it?
No.
Have you checked it out at all?
I'm considering using it, but
Okay.
I don't use just straight up Chrome, Firefox, or Edge to begin with.
You use
So,
like
yeah.
a toaster that you've loaded Linux into or something, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. I use my Linux toaster and yeah, but no, like I still use Arc browser. I still use, and then Safari's great. It doesn't have those problems generally, most of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just curious about the experience because that sounds really cool. But if it like breaks all the websites you go to for various reasons, then it's like, that's useless.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great concern to have. But the basic idea is that these settings are not like hacky stuff. They're settings that are already built into the web browsers for like corporate environments to kind of cut all the crap that they give to the consumers. And yeah. So at any point you can change or remove any of the settings. The browser guides explain each setting. so you can modify them, remove them, add them, and they, it's just using group. It says group policies that are fully supported by web browsers, usually intended for IT departments in companies or other large organizations. No applications or executable files are modified in any way. And as long as the settings, as long as web browsers continue to support those settings used in the configuration files, they will remain applied.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. Or you could use alternative web browsers that give you the same experience.
Just another option.
However, not all of those are available on every platform. Sometimes their releases lag behind their mainstream browsers in security updates and engine upgrades. So you do you with your web browsing.
Yeah.
But here, there's another option if you want to go vanilla with a lot of the great stuff that you would get with a different browser. So,
all right.
Yeah, justthebrowser.com.
There it is. They send us a check for thousands of dollars to say that.
I certainly hope so, man. That would be nice.
Devon, tell us how to be mean to robots.
Or don't.
Or maybe not. Devon?
Yeah.
Oh, Devon's not
All
there.
Right. Devon's gone, man.
Devon's gone, man. Devon left. Devon's not here, man. Yeah. All right, that's fine.
Right.
I'll do mine.
Shall we take a break here? Oh, okay, yeah.
No, I'll talk my science, and if Devon comes back, great. If not, oops. All right, so I'm gonna file this one under Brain Matters. I feel like I haven't done science in weeks. This comes from Science Daily. Was published on December 29th of 2025. The title is "The Brain Has a Hidden Language and Scientists Just Found It." Esperanto, okay. Turns out.
We're now speaking to our brains then. Okay.
No. So, is Devon? Hello? There he is.
Devon's back. He's back.
Okay, that was weird.
All right, things happen. Researchers have created a protein that can detect the faint chemical signal neurons receive from other brain cells. By tracking glutamate in real time, scientists can finally see how neurons process incoming information before sending signals onward. This reveals a missing layer of brain communication that has been invisible until now. The discovery could reshape how scientists study learning, memory, and brain disease. This is really cool. To go through it, you have to understand or remember from 20 years ago how brain cells communicate. The brain contains billions of neurons that communicate by sending electrical signals along branch-like structures called axons. When an electrical signal reaches the end of an axon, it cannot cross a small gap to the next neuron, which is known as a synapse. Instead, the signal triggers the release of a neurotransmitter into the synapse. Glutamate is the most common of these chemical messengers and plays a key role in memory, learning, and emotion. When glutamate reaches the next neuron, it can cause that cell to fire, continuing the chain of communication. Okay, that's what you need to know about what we knew until now. Now I need to find the part of the article where I can understand what they're saying. This process can be compared to falling dominoes, but it's far more complex. Each neuron receives input from thousands of others, and only certain combinations and patterns of activity will trigger the receiving neuron to fire. With this new protein sensor, scientists can now identify which patterns of incoming activity lead to that response. So you have a neuron, and say 3 others are connected to it. If one of those 3 fires, maybe it doesn't continue on. If 2 of them fire, maybe it doesn't continue on. Maybe just the first and the third one need to fire, and then it continues on. And we didn't know the mechanism by which the neuron detected what the incoming information was. So until now, observing these incoming signals in living brain tissue was nearly impossible. Previous technologies were too slow or lacked the sensitivity needed to measure activity at individual synapses. As a result, researchers could only see pieces of the communication process rather than the full exchange. This new approach allows them to capture the entire conversation.
All right.
There's more technical stuff in this article than I am willing to try to talk about right now. There's a lot here. Yeah, that's why I wasn't going to do this one, and I was really happy that Devon had one to do, but then Devon disappeared.
That's all right. I mean,
I don't know what happened.
we can. Well, I don't know.
We can what?
You can keep on going.
Yeah, I was going to wrap this up.
I know. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. We're going long. I get it. So it's cool. We found a new process to understand our brains a little bit better, and that is always good news. That's always good science, because we need to understand ourselves before we can figure out how to fix us. All right. That's it for Future Now this week. We are now going to take a break. When we come back, we are doing What's Expected of Us from Ted Chiang. So the link is I promise this week the link is in the show notes. I tried looking for the link, you guys. It hasn't been in the show notes for a few weeks. The link is definitely going to be in the show notes this week. So read it. It's only a page long. It's going to be great.
Was it not in last week's
It
one?
might have been lost in the chat GPT that I do to make our notes.
I have a better link then for it. So let me go ahead and I'll put that in here too.
You do that, and we'll be right back. Oh, wow. Another free listener. Incredible. Look, I love that you're here, but let's be real. You could be getting so much more. Bonus episodes, unfiltered takes, behind-the-scenes chaos. All you have to do is join our Patreon at patreon.com/sciencefactionpodcast. Or don't. But if you don't, just know that somewhere in a parallel universe, a better version of you already has. And we're back.
Heyo.
Hey,
Hi.
what's up?
And a big thank you to our patrons, Renee and Josh. Y'all are awesome. So next week for book club, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We've done this before. We're going to watch a film instead of reading a story.
A whole film?
A whole film, a 16+ minute film on the Amuleto YouTube channel. It's called Likewise, Olive. And I've watched it, y'all. I very much enjoyed it. It's a neat little kind of touching time travel story.
Okay.
Cool.
So within the genre of sci-fi, the subgenre of time travel.
Yeah, it's
piques my interest, man.
It's really contemplative. So I hope you guys like it. It was directed by Dave Niziolek and Brendan M. Walsh from a script written by Niziolek. And I hope you guys like it.
What would you pair with it? Like a nice wine, or like a
tissue box?
A tissue box. Is it spicy?
Or a Willie's Remedy?
It's a little bit of a tearjerker, especially if you're if you're a parent.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So prepare for some feels.
It's got some feels there, you know.
Fair
and
enough.
and so essentially, like the film starts with this father and daughter outside of like I guess it's, gosh, it's like an office where he gets the opportunity to have an experience, a time travel-ish experience. And so they're talking about it, and then he gets to have his experience. And that's about all I'll say about it. Check it out.
Okay.
Next episode, we'll talk Likewise Olive off of the Amuleto channel.
Excellent. The link will be in our show notes, I promise. I'm really going to check that this week. Well, what about this week, Ben? Because you found this one for us as well.
Yeah, I did 2 weeks in a row, so that's 2 you owe me.
Well done.
Ted Chiang's What's Expected of Us, which was published in the journal Nature as part of their future section, and from 7th of July 2005.
How many years ago was that?
436.
How many years ago was that?
That was like 300 years ago.
It was a millennia ago.
2005. Like the future seemed so bright.
Oh,
Like, it also was scary, but it, yeah,
Yeah.
but it was pretty bright.
Right. So what's the story about?
Yeah. So what's
Devin's
expected
like,
of
come on,
us?
man. Stop talking about 2005. Let's do the story.
Yeah. So what's expected of us starts. This is a warning. Please read carefully.
Yeah.
By now, you've probably seen a predictor. Millions of them have been sold by the time you're reading this. For those who haven't seen one, it's a small device like a remote for opening your car door. Its only features are a button and a big green LED. The light flashes if you press the button. Specifically, the light flashes 1 second before you press the button.
So
And
what a
then,
great premise. Like
right?
that can be the beginning of a short story or a sci-fi epic, right? Like that is laying down a rule for the science fictional world as like this thing is true, now let's continue. And that's just a great way. Like that one paragraph just sets you up. And if that one paragraph makes you go, "Huh, I'd like to read more," you're going to love the rest. At least
Yeah,
I
especially
did.
because it doesn't take very long. It's a
Well,
pretty
yeah.
short. It's a very short one. And and so the predictor, basically, no matter what you do, the light always precedes the button press. If you're planning on pressing the button and you're moving to press the button, the light will come on exactly 1 second before you press it. No further, no less. And if you are trying to trick it by trying to make it think that you're going to press it, but it doesn't, but it's not going to light up. And the way that they do this is by having, like, essentially sending the button press, what they call it, the negative delay.
Negative time. The heart of each predictor is a circuit with a negative time delay. It sends a signal back in time. So if that's a rule, then like there's no way for you to ever trick it. Right? Like it's just math, right? There's just a negative at the end. Like there's no wiggle room there.
If the light comes on, then you will be pressing it in a second,
right?
Because the cause does not precede the effect in this case because of the negative time delay.
Correct.
And so here's the problem: is that this messes with some people's brain chemistry so much that it puts them into what they call akinetic mutism, because these people realize that this proves there is no free will. and so they essentially dive into a depression that is essentially is very coma-like. They choose not to do anything more, to live their lives, eat, do anything other than look around at the universe around them. And because they have come across the idea that they cannot pretend that free will is a choice, that free will is not an illusion anymore. And so this warning that is coming to you is coming from just over a year in your future. It's the first lengthy message received when circuits with negative delays in the megasecond range are used to build communication devices. Other messages will follow addressing other issues. My message to you is this, says the story: pretend that you have free will. It's essential that you behave as if your decisions matter, even though you know that they don't. The reality isn't important. What's important is your belief, and believing the lie is the only way to avoid a waking coma. Civilization now depends on self-deception. Perhaps it always has.
What a great story.
And yeah, go ahead. Devin.
I was surprised at the time travel element of it, because I thought what it was going to happen was that the device essentially reads your brain waves, or you could say there's kind of implant in your brain or whatever, because it's already been discovered that your brain decides to do something before you're consciously aware of it. So you could have the same device if it could read your brain properly, and basically would light up before you had after you had your brain had decided to press it, but before your consciousness was aware of it, and you could
But
have the same effect.
do you think that by that's the observer's paradox though? Would observing the light coming on mean that you would disturb the like what's going to happen? You
Well,
know?
if there was enough time for the light to flash and then for you to then decide, like, wait, no, I'm not going to press it. It depends on the timing. I think, and I don't know how detailed we understand this phenomenon in the brain. So I don't know how, but I mean, when they test this, it's in like the millisecond range. It's like very, very short, like very small, because obviously if your brain, you're consciously aware of something pretty quickly after your brain has decided to do it. But anyway, that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was because that still has all the same implications of free will. Because your brain is doing stuff before you've actually you get the illusion of thinking you decided to do it, but your brain already, and basically deterministically, because it's matter, moving by the rules of physics, has already come up with what it's going to do, and then you are getting a rationalization for it when you're consciously aware of it. So that also says all the same stuff about free will.
Yeah, true. I guess, but I guess it's one of those things where, like, from a narrative point of view, the fact that like a large portion of this story is really about people like trying to game the system and trying to like to joke around and prove with their friends, like, oh hey, look at this, like go ahead and try to break it. You can't. The fact that like it's a second, it's precisely a second.
But
And yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a way of showing people like concretely that you don't have free will, because I feel like there's other ways to prove you don't have free will, but again, not as concretely and maybe not as accessible to the everyday person, where they're just like, oh, this device proves you don't have free will. It's like, okay, well now I know it for sure. Like, I don't think I have free will, but I also live under the illusion of free will. So do I really think I don't have free will? Like, I know intellectually I don't have free will, but
How's that
He
steak
called you Cypher. Yeah.
from the Matrix?
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, he's eating the steak.
Yeah.
He's like, I know this isn't real, but I don't care. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, we're all doing it because we don't have free will, and all of us, at least I think all of us, kind of have the feeling, at least the feeling, whether we think we have free will or not, we feel like we have free will.
Yeah.
So maybe it's actually taking away that feeling to where you know for sure you don't have free will, and then how would that really affect your life? I still think for most people, it would. Like, anybody who's thought about it before, I don't think it would affect them because they've kind of already dealt with this.
So hold on. In the story, it says a third of those who play with the predictor must be hospitalized because they won't feed themselves, blah, blah, blah. So what they're saying is a third of all people would freak out knowing that they don't have free will. What do you think about?
And I wonder, because that's a big part of religion. I mean, a big part of believing in a God is that this God gave humans free will. And so if you were to like have a discussion with someone who's religious and you talk about free will, they're going to be like, well, of course you have free will. Like that's
one of the
part.
gifts.
Yeah. Which also means that they also, I guess, would assume, well, okay, if there's no God, then yeah, of course there's no free will. So they would kind of agree with you, but they just think that, well, but since God exists and he's granted us free will. The time travel part of this is also interesting because I heard this discussed, and I was kind of surprised that anybody would have a different answer. But if you were to make a decision, whatever it is, regardless of what it is, and you rewound the clock.
Okay.
So say you decided what you wanted to eat at a restaurant, and you picked a hamburger, and you rewound the clock by a minute. Is it possible? And everything's the same. The entire universe is going along in the exact same way it would have before. Would you be able to choose a different item on the menu?
Well, I think that's kind of what I'm getting at about like if you are observing that you've made a decision before, there's probably a part of you that would be very, very interested in changing the course of
No,
events.
but so I'm saying though, you don't
Look,
know you've made the decision before.
according
Oh,
to Devon's
The,
rules, no, you would not be able to make a different decision because that's the decision you
yeah.
always would have made. If you have it in your head that you just came back in time, well, now it's not exactly as it was before, and therefore you
yeah,
could
because you have the
change.
knowledge
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
future. But I'm talking
Okay.
about free will in the sense that no matter where in time you are, your will or spirit, whatever you want to say, has the ability to make free decisions at that point. So while I believe, and I think you guys would agree, of course you couldn't make a different decision. It's like every time travel movie we've ever seen is based on the premise that if things go the way they went the first time, then they're going to keep going the way they went the first time. And if you
Mm-hmm.
change it, then things are going to change.
Yep.
It's not like you go back in time, don't mess with anything, and you still have a completely different world when you go back. Not because of the butterfly effect, but just because time was rewound and free will exists.
Right.
So all those people made different decisions just on the fact that they have free will. And I think it's absurd to think that that would be the case. Am I wrong? You guys agree?
Okay. So
I agree with you.
I
Devin.
guess, I mean, well, okay. So I suppose that runs counter to the entire multiversal theory where every single decision you make generates a new splitting timeline.
No,
Like what you're
it
saying is
doesn't.
okay. So those two things can coexist?
Yes, because the events aren't based on quantum outcomes. So your consciousness, as far as we know, is not a function of quantum fluctuations or anything like that. And even if they were, they'd be random. Well, I mean, okay, if you're going to say there is something that, because this goes to a different point, but I've also wondered about that I think it's completely tangential to this conversation. But if you were to rewind the clock and have everything play out the exact same way, and you were measuring, the beta decay of something or whatever it would be, that would be a quantum process that's completely probabilistic, would you have the possibility of getting a different outcome even if you measured it at the exact same time? You're right. I think the answer is you could actually get a different outcome because it's purely probabilistic. And since it's not deterministic, even if you rewound the clock and played time exactly the same way through, and you measured the particle at the exact same time with exact same equipment in the exact same way, you could get a different result. That you're right.
Okay. Yeah, like a chaos theory, right? Like that's or is that a
That's
different
different.
okay, that's different. But I guess yeah, like I guess I'm just trying to kind of figure out like okay, well, again, there's no one theory of all things that has
But
been able to
again, but what I'm
work
saying
for
is,
everything.
I
But
don't think that quantum issue, I don't think affects the original question. You could
yeah.
either just dismiss it for now, or you could just say, most likely, which is true, that those quantum differences don't matter. The position of an electron in an atom in your finger isn't going to change the way you make choices, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
if
guess
you
it's
rewound the clock and played it again, would everything play out the exact same way? I think
Exact same
obviously
depends
the
on
answer
your
is yes.
scale. Exact same at a tiny scale would be no. Exact same on a huge scale would be yes.
Okay, well, we're talking about the macro scale, macroscopic, with
Ugh,
assuming consciousness
too
is
small.
not a function of quantum processes. But so then but I mean, so you're saying it wouldn't be the exact same, Ben?
I'm saying that I find it difficult to reconcile the idea of an infinitely splitting from every single moment based on choices and decisions being made with the fact that there's only one timeline in which the choice has been made at that point. Like I don't see how both of those things could coexist. I'm not saying that one is more true than the other. Um,
It could
but
be a matter of
yeah.
experience, right? Like maybe you can only in this branching timeline of probabilities, our consciousnesses could only ever experience one path through those branches, regardless of what's happening all around us. We'll never be able to see it or comprehend
Well,
it.
no, your consciousness would go through all the branches. They would just wouldn't know about the other branches.
Are you making
'Cause
up rules to this world?
no,
Where are you getting this from?
no,
You
well,
you
'cause every
sound like a
branch,
rules lawyer, being like, "Wow, you know what? Actually, the rule says it's +5 for a sword." Like, I didn't know that was a thing.
because every branch is equally valid. I mean, we're
Okay.
completely off topic. I wasn't prepared to talk about this, but if you want to get into the collapsing wave function and multiple realities or whatever, every branch is equally valid. So to say your consciousness would follow one path doesn't make any sense, because does that mean in the other branches you're just a zombie, or you're not conscious, or you don't have free will?
No, I was thinking of it more fourth dimensionally, like like you being able to experience these paths would just be like how our life is right now. And if another choice is made, then it's like a copy is ported over, and that's your parallel universe. But because there's so many options all the time, there's uncountable infinity around you at all time, but you can't comprehend those. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So then, because the original point had nothing to do with this, but
What was the
I guess
original
then-
point? I don't remember.
Oh, his original point is that if everything is the same, and you go back a minute, you should expect that everything will continue to be the same as it was.
Yes.
And that's like the deterministic like point of view, right?
Yeah,
like
I agree with that.
there is no free will. There's no
Yeah.
free will because
Yeah.
And I think that I'm just having trouble wrapping my head around that versus the fact that
your choices aren't based on quantum fluctuations. So even if you would get a different answer on where a particle is, or the spin of the particle, because of a quantum measurement, I don't think affects the macroscopic world in a way that you would make a different choice.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that this is sort of the idea of like, well, what do they mean by, like, if
Okay.
if like on a large level, like I am capable of making two different choices, going left or right at any one point, and in a multiversal view, I have made both choices and I've gone down both paths.
No.
Okay, all right. So I'm
That's
okay.
not how the multiverse works. That choice wasn't based
good.
on a quantum measurement, unless you think it was, and I'm curious how that would be the case, because we haven't linked consciousness to quantum, but any part of quantum mechanics. But that doesn't mean it's completely ruled out. But quantum mechanics does not mean every possibility that can happen does happen.
Gotcha.
It just means when you measure the property of a particle, the outcome is probabilistic. And that does mean that there are splitting realities where the measurement was different. And if you want to say, if I measure this way, I'm going to do this. If I measure it that way, I'm going to do something different. And which is the whole point of Schrodinger's equation, or Schrodinger's cat, is to say that you're linking the macroscopic world to a quantum event. Yeah, not the point I was trying to get at, but
I watched 37 movies to get to Avengers Endgame, Devon. Like, I feel like I'm pretty much an expert on all this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a Mobius strip. It's okay. Let's go. Let's move on.
But no, like, okay, so yeah, I guess what I'm saying is if I put that out of my head, like I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced of a deterministic world.
Well, that's interesting. So, but that's the point of that question, because I think the world is deterministic. I think consciousness is ultimately just based on materialism, based on matter and energy doing what it would do under the laws of physics, and it happens to generate the sense of self and the illusion of free will. But if you were to rewind time with no extra information and no changes, I would expect, because of that everything would play out the exact same way. People who believe in free will, or certain types of free will, literally think in that scenario, if you go back in time and there's no new information and nothing has changed, that their free will would allow them to make a different decision. with no new information inputted of what they chose the first time. And I think that that's a good way of looking at free will, because I think most people would look at that scenario and say, well, no, of course not. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did the first time. Why, without any new information, would I do something different?
Yeah.
And I think that's a way of proving determinism as a thought experiment, to be like, well, yeah, everything I did was based on what was present at the time, but there's no way I could have made a different decision, because if you rewind it, I make the same decision every single time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I see that. I mean, there's the part of me that hopes for, like the punk part of me that hopes that like there's something that we could do that would change things, or to kind of like push something out. I think that part of it is just I'm imagining an observer's paradox where none exists. Like this, there is no additional observer.
I think if you're watching a time travel movie and the character travels back in time, and they're like, okay, we know this happens and we have to change it. So based on whatever, this person's going to be walking down the street at this time and we have to stop them from doing whatever. And then they go there and the person's not there. And they'll be like, oh, someone else must have come back in time and given them information, or something changed. Or it could just be, no, they have free will. They just didn't do the same thing this time. And if that was the explanation, I think most of the audience would be like, what? What do you mean they just did something different? No, there has to be something new introduced into the situation.
Right.
Yeah. No, they just decided, hey, I'm doing this. Okay.
I'm just living my life.
Yeah. Based on what? Why did you do something different? Even though all the same
vibes.
Everything was in the same place and the same. Anyway, I think there's so many different things, different thought experiments and stuff about free will, which are pretty interesting. But I heard that one because I heard someone present that one, and I thought it was just a dumb idea. I thought it was so obvious to me. I'm like, is that even an argument? Like, of course the same thing's going to happen. But then they're like, well, think about what that means. It's like, okay, yeah, I guess it means everything was deterministic. Everything was based on the way the universe was the second before you made the choice, and it's always going to be that way, and you're always going to make that choice.
So,
guys, let's not forget the whole point. The whole point of this is that reading good sci-fi gets your brain going and get you thinking and get you talking to your buddies about weird sci-fi stuff that one guy has like a rule book for, another one's going on vibes, and you just talk about it. You just talk it out. That's the whole point. That's what good science fiction does. So
may I wrap this up with the last paragraph and sentence of the story?
Please do.
And yet I know that because free will is an illusion, it's all predetermined who will descend into akinetic mutism and who won't. There's nothing anyone can do about it. You can't choose the effect the predictor has on you. Some of you will succumb and some of you won't. And my sending this warning won't alter those proportions. So why did I do it? Because I had no choice.
Boom, mic drop.
Right? Incredible.
Really good.
Absolutely incredible.
Link to this PDF or the website, probably both, hopefully, will be in the show notes. Check out the full thing. We've read most of it to you. There's a few paragraphs we haven't. Please check it out. It's going to be awesome. Once again, next week, likewise, Olive, a 16-minute film that we'll have a link to on YouTube. I don't know if you can call it a film because I don't think a film was used to create this.
I mean, sure. Maybe if they go back in time, they'll make a choice to do it on film.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Devon, do you have any final thoughts for us this week? Not about determinism.
Well, then no.
Okay. Ben, give us your final thing to say.
Yo, did you guys hear about that new movie called Constipation? It hasn't come out yet.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.